Welcome students, welcome panelists. Thank you for attending today's Transfer Tuesday UH Mnoa Transfer Workshop. Today, I will just be introducing the counselors who coordinated these series and also the two special guests that we have for today. Again, feel free to put your questions in chat and we will address them at the end of each of the speakers' presentations. So we have, I just want to introduce Amy. Amy McKee is a UH Mānoa Transfer Specialist. I'm Laurie Labarios. I'm one of the counselors at Leeward. And we also have Jordan Luton, who's our Leeward Community College online counselor. She'll be jumping in a little later. So we're very fortunate to have academic advisor Carissa Guzman here from the School of Travel Industry Management. So she will be doing her presentation first, and then we'll address any kinds of questions you may have at the end of her session, about 25 minutes later. And then Scheidler College of Business, the admission advisor, Claire Fujioka Sok, will also be sharing. So we're so happy to have them. And then we can go to the next slide.
So before we get started today, we just wanted to share with you folks a little bit of information about the University of Hawaii at Manoa. The UH Manoa was founded in 1907 and is considered a land, sea, space, and sun grant institution. We offer over 100 undergraduate majors for students to choose from, as well as some graduate and professional degree programs, including law, medicine, business, social work, education, and engineering. We are the flagship campus of the University of Hawaii system, a Research One institution, an NCAA Division I school, and we strive towards being a native Hawaiian place of learning. If you're interested in transferring to UH Manoa in the future, we'd love for you to consider joining the KAEA program. The KAEA program is a partnership between UH Manoa and the community colleges and offers to students proactive academic advising, waiving the application fee to UH Manoa. You have the ability to take Manoa classes while you're still at the community college, and you can register early when you do transfer to Manoa. To be eligible to join the program, you do need to have at least 24 transferable credits, a 2.0 GPA, and have at least one more semester remaining at the community college. I'll drop some more information into the chat, but please feel free to message me if you have any more questions about the program. All right, and without further ado, we'll turn it over to our first speaker of today, Carissa Guzman.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Can we hear me okay? I guess, Amy, can you give me a thumbs up? It's all good. All right, cool. I hope everyone is doing well and having a nice day and a week so far. We're at Tuesday. For those of you who are in the middle of midterms, or maybe you just finished your midterms as well, I hope that all went well and that you're surviving and thriving. Thank you, Lori, for the introduction. Again, my name is Carissa, and I am an academic advisor with the School of Travel Industry Management at the Scheidler College of Business at UH Manoa. I am really excited to be here this afternoon/lunchtime, and I really appreciate your time and attention over the next 25 minutes or so. I want to especially thank the Manoa Transfer Coordination Center for setting up and coordinating this virtual event and giving us the opportunity to meet with UH system transfer students. So thank you again for being here, and thank you again for coordinating this. So today what I wanted to cover was 3 different things. The first thing I wanted to cover is exactly what is the travel industry. As I've gone out and met with students, sometimes I am met with surprise and confusion as to what is the travel industry management degree. Why should I study something like travel industry management? Or I didn't even know that this major existed at UH Manoa or existed, period. So one thing I wanted to highlight today is just why should you consider studying travel industry? The second thing I wanted to highlight today is why should you study travel industry management, right? So what is it? Why should you study it? And then the third thing I wanted to cover today is why should you specifically study travel industry management at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, Tim School at the Scheidler College of Business. So first off, what is the travel industry? So I figured one of the easiest ways to kind of explain what the travel industry is through going through a story about your cousin's high school graduation that you may have in Orange County, California. So if you don't have a cousin or family in Orange County, California, please go ahead and, just imagine that maybe you have some family in Orange County and you have a cousin and she's going to be graduating from high school. I also want you to kind of think about this and approach it as if we're living perhaps in like a post-Rona world. So traveling doesn't have those 14-day mandatory quarantine requirements. Getting around is and navigating is going to be just a little bit easier as well too. And so with this travel for your cousin's graduation, your parents decide that they want to make a family trip out of this graduation. So the plan is to fly out to California for the first 2 weeks in the beginning of June. Your parents have been really busy with work as well. So rather than plan the trip themselves, your parents decide that they're going to reach out to a local tour company to get everything set up. So this tour company is going to help with setting up the flight, setting up the lodging, setting up transportation, and also setting up the hotel stay as well. And so the day of the departure rolls around, and in order to get to the airport, your parents decide to call a cab. Your flight is super early in the morning. Your parents don't want to bother, aunties and uncles to drop you off to the airport. So the cab comes, picks you up, and drives you to H&L. You check in when you get to the airport, turn in your luggage, you get on the plane, and then you fly out to LAX. So upon arrival to LAX, your parents pick up the rental car so that you can drive down to Orange County and check into the hotel. You arrive at the hotel, check in and get settled in your hotel room. After getting settled, your parents are like, what are we gonna do? So, it's been a while, you've been in quarantine, you're starting to get a little bit pale, you haven't seen sunlight in a bit. So you're like, you know what, I'm gonna hang out by the pool and I'm gonna go get a tan. Your parents, on the other hand, haven't had the opportunity to golf in a while, so they decide that they're gonna go golfing. So you lounge by the pool, your parents go golfing. That evening after your parents get back from their golfing and you have, a nice little bronze on your skin, your parents decide to have a nice dinner at a local Mexican restaurant nearby because, in Hawaii, we don't have too many options for Mexican food. So they decided, we're going to go get some quality Mexican food while we're here. And you go and you have some of the best Mexican food that you have ever eaten. The following day is a special treat. Your parents decide to spend the entire day at Disneyland. So you put on your most comfortable walking shoes and partake in everything that Disneyland has to offer. You ride all the rides, you watch the fireworks show, and most importantly, you eat as many churros as humanly possible. I think at the end of the day, you clock maybe about like 10 churros as well. So your time at Disneyland is a total blast. You even have a little extra cash to buy some souvenirs from the gift shop because how can you say no to those limited edition Mickey Mouse ears? So the next day is your cousin's graduation, and to commemorate the experience, your auntie and uncle decide that they're going to throw a party. The graduation party is a blast. It's catered. There's an open bar for those of you who are 21 or older, and everyone has a ton of fun dancing and celebrating. You're also excited to hear that your cousin has decided to attend UH Mānoa as well too, and she's decided that she wants to study travel industry management because her parents have always thrown the best parties, and she wants to go into event planning as a profession. So you're excited because you'll be able to see her more often. So I could continue with this story, but I'm hoping that you kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to get across here. And so now what I want you to do is think about and reflect upon all the working professionals that made this trip happen. Think about the front desk agents, at the hotel, at the airport, at the rental agency. Think about the event planners as well. The fireworks show didn't just happen out of nowhere at Disneyland. Think about the chefs and the caterers who cooked the food at the Mexican restaurant, who catered the food at your cousin's graduation party. Think about the flight attendants. Now think about the managers as well, who ensured that all the employees were trained, that all the schedules were made, and that everyone was able to work. Think about the human resources department, who ensured that the employees were paid and that benefits were received. And as an aside as well too, when we talk about benefits, it's not just pay and healthcare. There's other benefits, you know, there could be discounted lodging if you work at a hotel, discounted airfare if you work at an airline. I also want you to think about the marketing company and the marketing department of the tour company as well. You know, how did your parents know which local tour company to call to help organize that trip? Could it have been that your parents were talking about the trip with their phone nearby, and then a few seconds later, your mom hopped on to her Facebook feed, and then in her Facebook feed, there was an ad for the local tour company that she decided to call to schedule to help coordinate your trip. So all of those things and all of those people are a part of the travel industry. And believe it or not, that's a small fraction of the travel industry, which leads me to my second point, which is why should you study travel industry management, or TIM is the acronym that we use. Well, if any part of this story seems interesting enough to you to the point that you could see yourself having a career in the travel industry, so if you see yourself working at that hotel, you see yourself maybe working at the airline, doing like front counter stuff, if you see yourself planning events, I would definitely say that you should consider studying TIM. Students who pursue a degree or profession in TIM have the opportunity to help and work with people in a creative and diverse environment that comes with a lot of variety. And of course, there's travel. A degree in TIM can take you all over the world. So specifically, why should you study TIM at the University of Hawaii at Manoa? That brings me to my third point. So the first forcing the tourism industry in Hawaii to evolve, in the end, tourism is still going to be here. And in fact, this is the perfect time, and this is the time where we really need the tourism and hospitality industry, especially locally, to be infused with fresh blood, with new ideas, who are going to push us forward, whether it be through sustainable practices or an understanding of our local culture. Hawaii is a tourism destination. How can we help it continue to evolve and bring it into the future? So one example I have of that is a student of ours, and this correlates with the next slide, which is going to discuss the second reason why you should pursue a degree in TIM, which is internships. We had a student who did an internship at Gourmet Events Hawaii, which is primarily an event planning company. So when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, you know, they realized there weren't going to be too many in-person events. So how they pivoted their company was now what they do is they deliver CSAs. So those are boxes, you know, that are filled with local goods, whether it be food, that type of thing, to homes locally. And so that's one way that a part of the industry was able to pivot. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of needing fresh new blood, fresh new ideas to kind of help the tourism and travel industry move forward as we're entering this new time in terms of the economy and also tourism as well too. In addition to the location, as I mentioned, our internship and career development component is another reason why you should consider studying TIM. So some of you might be thinking, you know, why is she promoting internships and career development as a reason to study the travel industry field? So one reason I would say is this is the opportunity for you to get experience in the industry. So the TIM degree is a professional degree. So what that means is it's setting you up for a profession. And so the internship program is what is going to help get you that experience. Additionally, going through the internship program, which is required, you have the opportunity to network with industry professionals. So as you're all familiar, you know, getting a job, it's important to know things. Obviously, it's really important to just have your education and to know things, but also what's important is who you know as well too. So the internship component kind of helps you build your network and establish your network as well. So that's another reason why, you know, the internship component is really important. In addition to that, you know, we also have a lot of internship and career support. We have an internship and career development director. We also participate in the Scheidler, teenager students have the opportunity to participate in the Scheidler Career Fair as well too, to learn about internship and career opportunities. A professional day is hosted every year. It's coordinated by one of our student clubs and also our internship director, where students have the opportunity to practice, career development that includes resume critiques, interview skills, that type of thing. So there are a lot of opportunities in terms of internship and career development. Additionally, and this is something that is really important to me, is the financial support that the Travel Industry Management School provides to students. So for the 2019-2020 school year, the TIM School awarded more than $200,000 worth of scholarships to 75 TIM major students. And one thing that's really cool now that the TIM School is a part of the Scheidler College of Business is all TIM major students have the opportunity to participate in an annual scholarship luncheon to commemorate and honor the scholarship donors. And that also gives you another opportunity to network with the donors as well too, because keep in mind, oftentimes these donors of scholarship funds are also industry professionals too. So for example, Marriott does have a scholarship that it provides to students. So you have the opportunity to already start networking with the Marriott industry professionals. So I think that's a really great opportunity beyond even just the fiscal support. TIM students also get the opportunity to participate in Scheidler College Business Night, where we commemorate and award outstanding students for their achievements. So an example of that would be like outstanding hospitality student or outstanding tourism student, that's a junior. And along with that award, students also do get a monetary reward too. I think it's valued up to $1,500. So that's another way to kind of help support your education. There are also industry-sponsored scholarships available to TIM major students outside of the TIM school too. So you have additional opportunities to apply for scholarships through like the American Hotel Lodging Association, which offers scholarships specific to students who are studying TIM. For incoming transfer students, we do offer 2 specific transfer student scholarships. We have one for students who are studying host. So that would be students at like KCC, UH Maui College. We do offer scholarships specific to host transfers. And then for those of you, as Amy mentioned, the KAEA Program, we do have a specific scholarship for incoming KAEA transfers as well. So you could look into those. You're also eligible for the New Warrior Scholarship, the Presidential Scholarship. And in terms of grant funding, you would be eligible for those through the University of Hawaii as Manoa as well too. One that I really like to highlight is that Hawaii D Plus Scholarship, because the Hawaii D Plus Scholarship, and for those of you who aren't familiar with grants are like free money. So basically it's something you get and you don't need to pay back. So free money is awesome. We like free money. So the Hawaii D Plus Scholarship is eligible to any undergraduate student who graduated from a Hawaii DOE school, so that's the Hawaii Public High School, who had a 3.0 GPA. So if that fits your background, you might be eligible for this Hawaii D Plus Scholarship. So there are definitely opportunities to help finance your education. So I wanted to kind of give a visual, because I know sometimes when you talk about numbers, a lot of times, numbers being thrown around, and it's really hard without like a specific visual. So here's hopefully a visual to help kind of give you an idea of how you can receive funds to help pay for your education. So for the 2020-21 school year, tuition and fees is a little bit over $6,000. And on the right-hand side, it kind of shows if you get the Manoa Opportunity Grant, you get the B Plus Scholarship, you get the TIM Scholarship, it reduces your tuition to about $4,000 less, giving you a much smaller balance. And then you might be able to supplement that in other ways, because all the previous scholarships I had talked about were not incorporated into this. So there are definite opportunities once you get into the TIM major to apply for additional scholarships to help finance your education. So beyond like financial support, one of the really cool ways to get involved, and I think it's one of the best ways and one of the funnest ways to get involved, is to join a student club. So student clubs are a really great way to network and socialize with your current classmates who will be your future network when you go out into the industry and pursue your profession. But one thing our student clubs really enjoy doing as well too, which makes sense, is travel. They travel all over the place. So ESC, which is our Honor Society, and AHLA, our student chapter of the American Hotel Lodging Association, prior to COVID, had the opportunity to travel to New York City every year to participate in the Hotel X conference to learn more about hospitality through Hotel X while in New York. CMAA, which is Club Managers Association of America, also has the opportunity. They travel to the conference, the CMAA conference as well, every year. This past year, our students got to travel to Texas, and they traveled to other places. And TIMSA, which is our most popular student club, does make it a point to travel every single year, one type of trip. So previously, they've been to Vancouver, Canada. They've also gone to Las Vegas. Last year, they went to Kauai. A majority of our student clubs outside of our honor society are also open to those of you who are maybe like, you know, I'm not sure if TIM is the right fit for me, but I definitely want to go into business. You do have the opportunity to participate in these TIM student clubs as well too. So I definitely do encourage it because it's a really good way to just kind of get involved, at least with the TIM school. While on the topic of travel, students do have the opportunity to travel as well through the TIM major. Students can go on study abroad through either a Manoa International Exchange Office, through our Study Abroad Center. One travel opportunity I specifically want to highlight is called the Japan Study Tour. It's hosted specifically during spring break for TIM major students, where students in TIM have the opportunity to travel to Tokyo, Japan, and experience the travel industry field for about like 9 days in Tokyo. So they got to do site visits of Disneyland, of Disney Sea, of Japan Airlines, the Haneda Airport. It was a really fun trip. It's a really good opportunity to travel and just kind of immerse yourself in the hospitality and tourism travel industry. One thing I'll say too, the fun thing about being in a TIM major is excursions are always really fun as well. So when you go on school excursions, you know, oftentimes it's to like hotels, you know, they sometimes provide you with swag and food. So even just doing like excursions through the major is a fun experience because ultimately it's a pretty fun major to go into TIM. So some additional support services we provide for transfer students. You can participate in the Nakuku Net Loop, which is an annual industry networking event. For those of you who are interested in event planning, we do have an event planning class, and those event planning students actually plan the event every year. So that's a really good way to kind of get involved and kind of get some of that experience through the classroom. So if you do pursue a degree in travel industry management, you will be pursuing a Bachelor's of Science degree. So that's the degree you'll be earning. It's a BS in travel industry management. We do offer studies in hospitality management and then also tourism and transportation management as well too. So to kind of give you an idea of the programs within Scheidler at the undergraduate level, the Bachelor's of Science degree I've mentioned, and Claire is going to go over the Bachelor's of Business Administration. She's the admissions advisor for all the other amazing programs in the Scheidler College of Business. The difference between the two is a BS degree, in particular with the School of TIM, is it's just very focused in travel industry management. And so basically, you know, both students in BS and BBA have to take major core classes and major classes. So the major core classes in TIM are focused in TIM. So it's like a financial management class with a focus in TIM, like a human resources class with a focus in TIM. And then you can take more specific, like major related courses within hospitality, tourism, or transportation studies. So for those of you who are really interested in the travel industry, and you want that focused education, I think TIM is an excellent degree. For those of you who are maybe unsure and want more like general background, the Scheidler BBA programs are awesome. Claire's going to give a lot of information on that in the next presentation, and you can definitely learn more about the BBA opportunities as well too. So in terms of TIM, we're at about, our major is about a little bit over 300 students. It varies every year, but we're around the 300 student range. Average class size is about 26 to about 70% resident students, and the rest of our students come from outside of Hawaii. We have one of the most diverse student bodies in terms of international students. We're one of the largest majors on campus with international students, so that just kind of is a testament to the diversity of this major as well. Because you get a lot of diversity in terms of just your classmates. In terms of admissions, we are open enrollment. So what that means is you can be admitted directly into the TIM major from the job, basically. So all you need to do is make sure you apply for admissions, select travel industry management as your program of study. And if you meet UH Mānoa admissions criteria, you would be admissible directly from the get-go into the TIM major. We do accept early credit and placement exams. So for those of you, obviously transfer students, check the transfer credit database to see how close is the transfer. You can, if you previously took AP courses as well too, then we do accept AP courses as well. So that's something you could look into in terms of transferring credits into UH Mānoa as well. Some additional educational opportunities we offer, we do have a TIM BAM program. So that's a bachelor's and master's program where you're able to receive your master's in travel industry management in a shorter period of time. Maybe for those of you who are like, I don't know, TIM seems a little bit too focused for me. I kind of want to do, you know, a marketing major, but I still really like TIM. We also have a certificate program as well. You could look into that. It gives you a foundation of like TIM, the TIM industry. We also do have a sustainable tourism program through SOAS as well. And if you want to pursue like multiple majors, say you're sitting through this and you're like, oh, I want to do, you know, marketing and TIM as multiple majors, that's another option. Please come see us early for academic advising so we can get it planned. One program I wanted to highlight, and you can actually utilize this already because it's available to all students within the University of Hawaii system. It's called PACE. That's the Pacific Asia Center for Entrepreneurship. And so PACE is a resource center that offers mentorship, funding, and then also training for startups. And so as I mentioned, right, in the beginning of the presentation, we need fresh blood. We need new ideas. I think PACE is a really good resource in terms of maybe kind of figuring out your entrepreneurial spirit. So maybe someone in here, one of you wants to own your own restaurant. This would be a really good place to go to in terms of support, mentorship, and just learning new things. PACE hosts a competition every year for students to present like their business plans. And this past year, a TIM major actually won the competition. His company is called Pono Potions. His background is in food and beverage. He is a bartender by trade. So he created Pono Potions, which actually is a sustainable syrup for like coffees and also alcoholic beverages. And he won the PACE competition. I believe it came with like a $10,000 award to run his company and also like free legal for like a year or something. So PACE is a really cool opportunity. Again, you can already utilize the service, but in particular, if you come to Manoa, if you're interested in entrepreneurship, which is an option as a major, which Claire will be going over with the BBA options, PACE is a really good opportunity for you. And I definitely encourage you to look into them. Please follow us on social media. We post a lot of really cool stuff. Our Instagram is pretty active, so we're Scheidler College and specific to the TIM school or UHM TIM school. Please follow us there. Otherwise, this is my specific contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. You can also sign up for an advising appointment online. So other than that, that is pretty much everything. I think I saw some questions come up in the chat.
All right, Carissa, I can help you kind of facilitate some of the questions.
Sure.
Okay, so I think,
yeah,
absolutely. So I think if you guys have questions for the travel industry management school about anything that she talked about, we can go through those right now. So you can post your question in the Q&A. There should be at the bottom of your screen to post your question, and we'll get to those. But in the meantime, we have one, it looks like, in the chat. So we're looking at Jamie's question here from KCC. She's pursuing business marketing and a BS in psychology, interested in research and statistics, possibly data analysis, is already in the KAEA program and is just thanking us for the webinar. So Jamie, if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in. Let's see. I don't see any other questions, Carissa. Yeah, so we'll get to questions. Let's see. You want to maybe just talk about if students are considering, one versus another, what they can maybe think about if they're sort of wondering which direction to go in, how you might help them sort of reflect on what they want to do and know that this is the path or this isn't the path.
I guess I would say, if you are interested in working, if a student is interested specifically in working in the travel industry field, so that would be in terms of industries you could think of if you really want to work in the hotel industry, it would be like a hotel manager, a hotel owner. If you want to work in the food and beverage industry, restaurant ownership, restaurant management, event planning, if you're interested in tourism, and so with that I mean a little bit maybe more policy, so like tourism policy, working for Hawaii Tourism Authority as well. If any of those types of positions are of interest to you, I would say that the TIM degree would be a good option for a student, because I know, I've had students say, TIM seems very focused for me. I think the BBA management would be a better option, to which I say, absolutely. If you think TIM is too focused, I understand, but a nice thing too I like about the TIM degree is it is built on the business foundation, and so students still get business-related coursework as well, and so it does make it transferable outside of the industry. We have one student, she graduated 3 or 4 years ago. She was a TIM undergraduate student major, so BS in TIM. She actually works in the entertainment industry now. She does social media marketing for Paramount Pictures, and her degree was in TIM, right? So because she still had that business foundation and she had a lot of that internship experience, that kind of helped propel her as well. But I would say primarily our focus is the industry. So if that's of interest to you, I think it would be a good fit.
Great, awesome. Are there any, courses? It looks like we've got an anonymous question. Do you have to be people-oriented for this field? I love that question.
That's a great question. I would say it depends on the position that you want to go into, because there are more positions where you don't have to be as front facing, customer facing, but because hospitality, is part of the travel industry, I would say that it is important to enjoy working with people. And so if you maybe don't like working with people as much, maybe you could look into the major a little bit more to see if it might be a good fit by dabbling maybe in some coursework or something. But I would say it's not a requirement, but it's highly, I would say you should definitely at least working with people at some point.
Yeah, that's great. And then along those lines, I guess you kind of went through some of the opportunities and things like that, but you want to just maybe highlight again some of the courses maybe that you could take while you're getting your gen eds, or, while you're at the community college. Look out for those courses because they'll give you kind of a feel for if this is a good direction for you.
So if you have the opportunity, I think they have it at LCC, KCC, UH Maui College, Hawaii Community College as well too. I think almost every campus except for maybe Honolulu and Windward. If you see Host 101 on the schedule, that's an introductory travel industry management course. I would encourage enrollment in that. If you see Host 100 on the schedule, that's an introductory career opportunities course in travel industry management. So if you see either two of those courses somewhere on the academic schedule, I would definitely recommend you look into taking that class, because that's going to give you a good background, and then maybe that'll help you decide whether or not TIM is a good fit for you or not.
Awesome, that's great. Definitely look out for those host courses. Okay, cool. Any last kind of pieces of advice, Carissa, that you want to share with students before we switch over to the next presenter?
I guess pieces of advice, I would say, for me, I say apply for scholarships. That's one really big piece of advice. I have, be mindful of your grades in that sense as well too, and definitely participate, get involved. So do internships, even if they're not required, get involved in student clubs. I think Getting involved is a really important component of your college education. It's going to help develop skills for you called soft skills. And so all of those things I would definitely recommend. And then also I'll throw it back on my slide real quick. If you do have questions, feel free to reach out to me as well too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Lori, take it away.
Thank you so much, Carissa. Students, please know that you can see Carissa directly as well as your campus counselor if you need advising.